On the 21st, I'll do another Gary Russen program, another Tuesday edition, and a Friday one on the last day of June. So that's all coming up, the Gary Russen program, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'll fix that up. And I've got some new music to play on the next Gary Russen program. So we're going to have a lot of fun on the middle of the week edition of the Gary Russen program. Going to get some songs ready for our new Up and Coming, which I'm working on for late August, early September. And I've got some new music to play for you, including one from our good dear friend and the one who liked my radio, Michael J. Martin. Martin, new song called Formaldehyde. Good song. I've listened to this song. It's fabulous. And we're going to play that for you on the next edition of the Gary Russen program. So you'll want to check that out. That's coming up on the next edition of the Gary Russen program. So stick around for that. Be right back. I'll have my wrap up in just a few moments.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, alright, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Pray, for we not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy, New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pest, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, end-time headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org.
You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon.
If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming.
And programming in other great music formats.
Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy.
Okay, we're wrapping up the Gary Russen program for today here on GJRB Online as we put a close to this program. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Coming up next week, the Gary Russen program will be on the air on the 15th. That'll be our Wednesday Over the Hump Day semi-freestyle edition, including Gary J's News and Comment. And we'll touch on some of the subjects we talked about before and some new ones that come up. You know, this is July, and this is going to be an interesting month. You know, J-Helm 15 started apparently. Other things going on. We're going to be talking about that as I record tomorrow morning, the last 7 days. And I'll be bringing it to you, and we'll be talking a lot about some of the topics that we're talking about on that program, and I'll be playing clips of that show. But the whole full podcast will be up this coming weekend here on GJRB. So tune in for that, and we'll have that program up for you. Also coming up this podcast weekend, the Bible study from this past week will be repeated, and I got a new one coming up next week. And basically, it's just going to be a quiet weekend. We're going to leave a lot of our podcast stuff from this week, including the one for this show, so that you can listen to it. And we'll be back on next week for another edition of the Gary Russen program next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. The following week we'll be on the air on Tuesday again on the 21st, and a Gary Russen program on the 31st, the last week of the month. So the 21st and the 31st, we'll have another edition of the Gary Russen program. So we'll fix all our issues, and we'll get back to normal here, whatever normal is. Until then, I'm Gary J. Russen. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Have a great day and a good evening.